So this is just, I wonder why I always, start off, the video by explaining, what the video is actually about. It's like, there's been a lot happening. I feel like fucking the protest, the pandemic, cops fucking murdering people, statues getting torn down, rightfully so. Confederate fucking statues, slave owner statues, capitalist statues, pieces of shit, all of them. Just tear them the fuck down. But also just, it's nice to have dialogue, and it's nice to talk to people about shit. And so, also, like, you know, kind of like building a mutual, like, network of support is important. And also, like, feeling like what you're doing, how you're, like, outreaching to other people and communicating. I had this encounter today. I went to Fred Meyer, and there was this homeless lady, and she obviously was not in a good state. She was screaming, like, fairly loud, yelling and screaming. And people outside, there was one person who said, like, "Oh, shut the fuck up," or whatever. It's just like, and a store employee who was, like, calling the police or whatever on this woman, who was obviously going through some trauma, whether it's a mental health trauma, physical health problem, substance abuse problem, or just, like, she's fucking, you know, a homeless lady and she doesn't have any resources. She's probably hungry. She's probably, like, going through, like, tons of different shit, that suffering, you know, that people don't seem to, like, fucking get. Like, the conditions underneath somebody's display of, you know, and it's like, they make the problem within capitalism, within, you know, this kind of, like, ideology that we look at things and we see it as, like, oh, this person is the problem. They're not the fucking problem. They're suffering from the problem. The problem is resources not being allocated. The problem is support not being given to people who need it. The problem is not the individual who is reacting to these things, who is having a mental health crisis, who is having, like, substance abuse issues, you know, because they can't find support, you know. And so we criminalize the person. They're calling the fucking cops on this lady. For what? For being poor, for being impoverished, for being in a state of crisis, you know. They're calling the fucking armed thugs when they should be calling a medical professional, someone who can offer this woman support, who can give her the things that she needs, you know. And it's just, it's so disgusting and it's so sad, you know, and you see it happening everywhere, you know. It's like, what kind of, like, hellish world are we living in where we can't even extend basic human compassion to somebody in a state of crisis, you know? And it's everywhere. And, you know, existing in pockets of privilege, like, I exist in a pocket of privilege, you know, and so it's almost surreal to see other people just on the base level suffering. But I also know I could be there too. I'm a fucking part-time dishwasher on the autistic spectrum, a gender fluid, non-binary person, you know, in a heteronormative society, in a largely transphobic environment, you know. And so I'm also an animal that's being oppressed by fucking capitalism and colonialism and neoliberalism, you know, all these societal factors that are keeping everyone down. All animals and people are under the boot of fucking bias and bigotry and systemic oppression, you know. And so it's like, it's just so weird. It's so fucking weird, you know, that people don't get this, that the conditions are the problem. The person is not the person reacting to those conditions is not the fucking problem. The animal that's fucking chewing on its fucking cage or like kicks a person, because they're exploiting it, is not the fucking problem. It's the conditions themselves. It's the oppression itself, And so, this is just a rant just based on experience. And, it's hard to like let this kind of stuff out because it's so suppressed within people. They don't talk about it. A lot of people don't fucking even like give it the 2 seconds of their day because they're just under this like work routine kind of mentality where it's like, okay, just ignore that because it doesn't have to do with me. Just buy my groceries, go home, fucking like waste time watching all these like fucking TV drama shows. And I'm not shaming whatever people are into. Do what makes you happy, but also realize people are fucking suffering. And you should identify with them, and you should not act against them. It's in nobody's interest to alienate, to fucking otherize. Nobody's interest. We all need to build each other up. We need to do the best we can to, like, get rid of a system that oppresses us, Address the conditions, and build up the individual. Help assist in any way you can. And, human and animal liberation. I just thought I'd bring all this up. So, thanks for listening, and have a creative day or night, whatever time it is, wherever you are.